Hello again, everybody. It's Les East, Brian Allee-Walsh, NewOrleans.com. It's Monday out at Saints Camp, following Sean Payton's weekly Monday press conference. Well, Les, when you go into the when we went into the locker room this morning, you were looking for some good signs of a team that understands where it is, and I think we heard that and we felt it with the players we both talked with, Drew Brees particularly. Is that there is no sense of panic. They do feel a sense of urgency. That expression was used by several players. But they're 4-3, and as we all know, you are what your record says you are. Right. And this team is 4-3, but still in the thick of the playoff race in the NFC. And they have a very, very crucial home game against the Steelers on Sunday night on national television, and I think that'll say a lot at the midway point of this season. But just your thoughts on where this team stands right now, mentally, more so than anything else.
Well, I think they're, taking the only approach they can take, and Drew kind of verbalized it, and he used the sense of urgency term, but he also said, when you start pressing, that's when when you start feeling like you have to play catch-up, that's when you start pressing and you make things worse, and they're not going to do that. And he said, we know how good we've been, we know how good we should be, we know what kind of character we have, we know what kind of work ethic we have. So it's, to use Mr. Finks' old term, it's a matter of just keep sawing wood and trying to get better. And, I think that's a sign of a veteran team, a mature team, a team that has had a lot of success because, Drew said, if we weren't giving the effort, then you would wonder what's going on with us. But they're doing that. They're just not executing as well. They're turning it over. They're not getting turnovers. And while it's frustrating and you wonder if they're going to be able to turn it around, you have to at least think that they're capable of turning it around. And also, they are missing some key players. That doesn't excuse the problems they've had, but they will be a better team when they start getting their injured starters back.
Yeah, one thing that we all can point at that's a very tangible thing is that they're not getting the turnovers from a defensive standpoint, and they're committing way too many at crucial times in games from an offensive standpoint. So, those turnovers are huge, and that's an adage that we've hit to death with through the years in the NFL is that you can't commit. You have to win the turnover battle, and the Saints are not doing that, and they're losing the ball at crucial times in games, and they're not getting the big momentum-changing plays on defense that they had in the past. Regardless who's on the field, they've got to be making those kind of plays and give the ball back to an offense that is struggling. Let's talk about Reggie Bush for a second, Les. They're kind of pointing toward Sunday night's game to try and get him back on the field. Reggie told us that he's going to try in earnest to get back in and practice beginning Wednesday with his right fibula. And we'll see where that goes. And Sean was careful to not say that he's a definite go for Sunday night, but they're going to take a good look at monitor him and see where he stands as the week progresses.
Yeah, Reggie said he had an X-ray done on Saturday that you can still see that there's a break there, but that it's healed sufficiently around the break that he's been cleared to get out on the field. And there's going to be some soreness. So he said he'd probably go outside tomorrow, a day off, just to do some stuff on his own and see how it feels, and then practice Wednesday. He doesn't know if he'll be full go Wednesday or limited. And then they're going to see, how painful is it? How well is he able to tolerate that pain? How does it react when he does that? How is he able to cut? Sean talked about his land-based work this week. When he gets out on a practice field and runs around, how does it respond? And I don't know about you, but I got the impression listening to both of them, especially Reggie, and I know Reggie's dying to get out there and is eager to get out there, but I felt after talking to him today that him playing on Sunday night is less likely than I felt last week talking to him.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. In fact, Sean sounded on Friday as if it was much more of a 75-25, not probable necessarily, but 75-25 that Reggie would make that his return date. I didn't get that feeling today from Reggie at all, nor from Sean. But Sean was certainly couched it, But yeah, I agree with you totally about Reggie. We'll see what happens, And I think the big picture is there are 9 games to go. This is not. I think Who Dat Nation and maybe the media too. You try to make this a must game for the Saints to win, and the worst case scenario, they lose and they're 4-4. Again, in the NFC right now, 4-4 still you're in the hunt with a second half of the season to go. So we'll see. But I was impressed with what they said and how they said it today. And when you look at guys in the eye, and they know that they're still capable of turning this thing around, and we'll see what happens. On a real an emotional note for me, I think I was very impressed with Courtney Roby and how he handled the incident on the sideline involving the chain gang member Al Nastasi. And from NewOrleans.com, we wish Al a speedy recovery for him and his family. A great man who's given a lot of years to the Saints organization, and it's an unfortunate thing that Courtney Roby feels just horrible about.
Yeah.
And it's nothing he could have avoided. It's just one of those things. And I thought Sean Payton made a great observation today. We're all surprised that these kind of things don't happen more often in the game, and that maybe this is something the league, while they're looking at suspensions and protecting players, perhaps they should also look at people on the sideline and people that are actually working for the league office here, and put them in helmets. That would certainly help protect them.
Yeah, and I think Sean actually said that he thinks in the near future you're going to see the officiating crew and others working on the field wear those helmets.
Yeah.
He seems to think that's going to happen pretty quickly. And there's been such an emphasis on head injuries in regards to players, and then unfortunately this incident happens, but it puts it at the forefront for another group of people. I think you probably will see this addressed in the short term, and those helmets probably will become mandatory very soon.
Well, I promise you that's something I'm going to write about for our website for today's post later this afternoon.
I'll say this, instituting something like that, the helmet rule, is a lot easier and makes a lot more sense mid-season than what they did last week, in terms of saying we're going to start suspending you and we're going to change the rules on how you can play midstream.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot harder for the players to adjust to, whereas this is a safety issue. It makes all the sense in the world to do this immediately.
Right, I was going to say, you could implement this within 5 days and have everybody in a chain gang with a helmet on of some sort, There's no doubt about that. This is certainly much more that can be implemented in a short period of time than everything else. But anyway, Les East, Brian Allee-Walsh for NewOrleans.com. Aloha, everyone.